Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Modco podcast. So, today I have a special guest on the show. Today, we are chatting with the first guy to appear on the Modco podcast, and it is Jarom Rogers. Jarom is a husband, father, man of God, and business owner. And I am excited to talk to him and see what nuggets he has to drop on us. So, everyone, let's welcome Jarom. Hi, how are you?
Hello, hello, Angel. Thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us before we get started?
Well, if I'm the first guy, I'm a little nervous. There's got to be some big shoes to fill, so I'll do my best.
Okay, I think you can do this. Like I've tried to talk my husband into being on the show before, but he's like, yeah, no, I'm good with just listening to it. I don't want to be on the show. So I'm like, I would like to have a guy on there at some point in time. So thank you for stepping up and doing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, hopefully I can provide maybe just a different perspective on things.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. That's why I'm so excited because to get that different perspective on it because you're an entrepreneur, you have to balance stuff and figure things out just like the rest of us. So I think we're really going to enjoy hearing your side of it and your perspective of it. So how long have you been an entrepreneur and how did you get started?
So I've been an entrepreneur since 2010.
Okay.
I started doing property management here in Phoenix, Arizona, and property management. As a property manager, you don't get paid very much money. Uh,
Okay.
the pay is not great, and landlords hate you and tenants hate you, and so
Okay.
it's a tough industry to be in. And so in order to make ends meet, I did a lot of side jobs. Like I would paint houses and do trash outs and fix toilets. I learned how to do drywall. YouTube was my best friend. uh,
Okay.
and so that's kind of how I got started in the entrepreneurial world. And I've never looked back. I love being able to control my own paycheck and not have to
Mhm.
rely on somebody else to stroke a check to me every 2 weeks. So I
Yeah.
feel a lot more confident in myself writing myself a check than somebody else. So that's how I got started anyway. So it's been, gosh, 15 years.
Okay. Oh yeah, wow. Okay, yeah. So 15 years. Okay, cool. So you're completely done with property management now. You don't do that at all anymore.
Yeah, I was doing that for 6 years.
Okay.
And I enjoyed it. I had great mentors, loved the real estate aspect of being an entrepreneur. And then I left that job to go pursue what I got a degree in from Arizona State University in finance. I went and pursued commercial real estate development
Okay.
and building large projects from the ground up, large commercial retail space. And that was my dream job. Loved it, but I was getting a paycheck every 2 weeks.
Mhm.
And so I went from this entrepreneurial state of what I loved to the job I loved, not as an entrepreneur. And after a year, I realized I had to be my own boss. And I
Okay.
had to leave my dream job. And actually, I went back into real estate, but more focused on the sales side. So representing buyers and sellers, and then building up my own investment property. So I am now still a property manager, but it's of the properties that I own, not somebody else's.
Okay, cool. So tell us a little bit more about that.
So the commercial world was great. I loved it. It's a different beast. But the residential side where I am now, I've been there for 6 years, just about
Okay.
7 years. And it started with buying and selling through commission only. So you eat what you kill. There is no guaranteed paycheck. Uh, but I stuck at it, and there were some low points in that career. Um, but I had one focus, and that was on my clients. So if
Okay.
I can provide value and create an amazing experience for my buyers and my sellers, I knew that my business would continue to grow, and it did. And after about 2 years, I had enough money to buy my own rental property. And
Wow.
it's just kind of slowly snowballed into a little portfolio that I have. I opened up a couple of other businesses since I decided to break off on my own. I own a hearing aid company
Oh,
here
oh, that's
in
interesting.
Phoenix, Arizona. It is interesting because I know nothing about hearing aids, zero. But we own 2 hearing aid shops here, and during the winter, because we're a big snowbird state, that business is really busy. We also own a flipping company called We Bagley Houses. It's a national franchise, and that was really, really lucrative for us. And in 2022, interest rates went from basically nothing to a lot.
Oh yeah.
And we were sitting on 18 homes that we were flipping at that time, and we lost our shorts big time.
Oh yeah, I can
So
imagine.
we had to come to the table with a lot of tens of thousands of dollars to close out every single one of these homes that we were flipping. So we lost a lot of the money that we made. But what kept us from filing, like foreclosing on the rest of our properties, was a concept called pad split that we actually brought to Phoenix from Atlanta, Georgia. You basically have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, and you chop it up into an 8-bed, 2-bath, and you rent it out per bedroom, so it's co-living. You share the bathrooms and the kitchen, and they pay $1,000 a room. And so that concept saved us from filing or foreclosing on 7 of the 18 properties that we just couldn't offload.
Okay, so one, I have a question. Well, well, not of course, but I knew about the mortgage rates in 2022 because my husband, up very recently, he worked in mortgage for like 10, 12 years. And so
he got hosed, didn't he?
Yeah. He worked in like all different sectors of mortgage and stuff like that. And so he's just recently, he's still at a financial institution, but he's not in mortgage anymore. So definitely knew about all of the rates and all of that stuff that was going on. But this 3-bedroom, 2-bath house into 8 bedrooms. One, how much square footage is this house, and how the heck do you turn 3 bedrooms into 8?
You know what? It doesn't have to be that much square footage. That's what's crazy. So we've got a house. It's like 1450 square feet.
Okay.
And 2-car garage, single story, and it was originally a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. And we took the front room and made it a bedroom. The family room made it a bedroom, and we put 2 bedrooms in the garage.
Okay.
So we added 4 bedrooms to the existing 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, and we cut out, like, the master bedroom had its own private bathroom.
Right.
Originally, and so what we did is we actually put up a wall and created a hallway.
Okay.
So now a community bathroom, and so there's no one has exclusive access to their own bathroom in these homes. It's all community bathrooms. You can lock the door, obviously, but
Right.
It's not exclusive to one bedroom like a typical master bedroom or primary bedroom would be.
Okay.
So that's how we chop it up. And here in Phoenix, affordability is non-existent. I mean, you're paying $1,600 a month for a studio apartment.
Yeah. Okay.
That's tiny with. Anyway, so the demand is high, and there's a lot of demand here in Phoenix for just a bedroom.
Okay. Got you. Okay. I'm so happy that you explained that, because when you said we're taking these, 3-bedroom, 2 baths and chopping them up into 8 bedrooms, I didn't even think about like the living room and the dining room and the garage and all that. Me and my visual self literally thought that you were taking these 3 individual bedrooms and
chopping them up. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You'd have to stand up to sleep.
Yeah, that's just where my brain was going. I was just like, they can't even turn around in these rooms, but they're paying $1,000 a month for them. I was just like, okay, I guess supply and demand here. You got to do what you got to do. But okay, your way makes a lot more sense than what was going on in my head over here. So, but that's a really interesting concept. Like I haven't heard of that before. So that's cool, and that's great that you were able to do that, to be able to save your business and save what you've built so far, so that you didn't have to foreclose on everything. Yeah, you lost some money, but you're also able to keep some of it too.
Yeah. Yep. We're still, credit's still good, everything's still fine, but it was close.
Okay.
It was a little too close for comfort. And I mean, we still have these properties. We're still underwater on these properties.
Oh
And it's
wow.
going to take us a few more years before it's break even for us.
Hmm.
But they also generate positive income every month
Okay.
because the pad split revenues and the rents cover our high interest rate mortgage.
Mm. Okay.
So it's been a blessing for us. And as an entrepreneur, you have to pivot.
Yeah.
And we were fortunate to find this concept, and we were able to take that concept and pivot and survive. And I truly believe that's what entrepreneurship is, and life is. Life in general will throw you high interest rates, hypothetically, whatever it might be. But there's always a way to figure out how to survive. Um, you just got to fight. You got to keep swimming.
Yeah. Yeah. And you gotta get creative there. So I love, like I said, I love the creativity of that. And now I'm sure that this is something, just because I'm just now hearing this for the first time, I'm sure that now I'll start hearing about this more. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll know what it is now.
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing that.
It's a newer concept to the marketplace in general. So
Okay.
the best way that I can describe it, it's like Airbnb.
Mm,
And I believe that pad split or a version of pad split will eventually be as well known as like an Airbnb or a VRBO or a
oh
furnished
yeah.
ranch. So there's again, it's a newer concept. Co-living is a newer concept to the United States, but it's going to continue to grow as demand and affordability struggle.
Oh yeah, because I mean the housing market. I'm in Charleston, South Carolina, and it's just crazy. I mean, I know you said that a studio is like $1,600, and people are paying that for, like a one-bedroom apartment. And it's like, why does a one-bedroom apartment cost you $1,600 a month? That's ridiculous. People can't afford that. It's like, what's going
Yeah.
on here? Yeah. And like the area of Charleston I live, I'm actually in Monk's Corner, so it's on the outskirts of Charleston, but nobody knows Monk's Corner. And so this, when we moved here 8 years ago, this was like the more affordable like area and stuff like that. Like people kind of turned their noses up at Monk's Corner, and now we have houses going for over $500,000 here, and it's like, why? But it's because they run out of places to build because they're chopping everything down. So
It's crazy. And
yes,
South Carolina's gorgeous. You guys have a super
yeah,
nice beach, don't you?
we have
Or is
a
that
beach.
North Carolina?
I
That's more
don't know
North
about it
Carolina.
being super nice, but yeah, we have some beaches here. So I mean,
Yeah.
everybody likes to come to Myrtle Beach. I guess it's just one of those things
Myrtle
that,
Beach. Yeah.
yeah, Myrtle Beach. Yeah, Myrtle Beach is here. Myrtle Beach is about an hour and 45 minutes away from us. So I guess it's just one of those things that, you live here and you're like, it's okay. But whenever I go to another state or something and people find out that I'm from South Carolina, they're like, I want to go to Myrtle Beach. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Pretty sure you can find a better beach to go to, but if that's what you want to do, I'm not gonna knock you here. So
I mean, it's better than the beaches we have in Arizona. So
yeah, I'll have to agree with you. I went to Arizona. Oh my gosh, it was probably like 10 years ago now. But I have been to Arizona. I do want to go back out there though. But it was nice when I went. So
yeah,
yeah.
Arizona is if it's been 10 years since you've been here, it's completely changed.
Oh, I can only imagine.
It's much different.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to make a trip back out there. So what is something you've had some different things going on. You've dibbled and you dabbled in some different things, went from the job you love back to doing something else. And then all of this going on with like the mortgage rates and stuff. What is something that you wish you had have known before you got started on this journey?
Uh, Before I got started on the journey of entrepreneurship,
Yes.
I don't know if I would have known, I wouldn't have done it. And so I'd say I'm glad that I went in kind of blind and ignorant
Mhm.
because I wouldn't have done it. I probably would have found a really good paying job with health insurance and 401k matches and benefits and weekends off and holidays off and PTO. And I mean, I probably wouldn't have done it. But I'm just too stupid to quit. And that's my problem.
Yeah.
So do I regret it? sometimes, but at the end of the day, there's no way that I can regret it, because freedom and flexibility are two different things.
Mm-hmm. They are.
And in the beginning, my career provided flexibility, but not freedom. W-2 jobs provide freedom on like the weekends and holidays.
Right.
You can unplug for a little bit. As an
Right.
entrepreneur, you're never unplugged.
No.
Your phone never stops. I don't care what time of day it is or what day it is, it doesn't stop. And if you don't know how to leverage yourself and act as an entrepreneur instead of just a business owner, because there's a difference between those two things too. A
Yes.
business owner and an entrepreneur, those are two different things. And
Mm-hmm.
so most of us are business owners, and I've been a business owner for far too long. And just until recently, I'd say maybe 6 to 8 months ago, I've started putting on my entrepreneurial hat. I consider myself an entrepreneur because I do a bunch of different things.
Okay.
But in my opinion, a true entrepreneur is you're able to build something and then remove yourself and have it continue to run without you. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the process of doing that currently, and I've been able to leverage myself a lot. And that's been incredible. So I don't wish I would have known anything, Angel.
Okay.
I'm glad I went into the whole entrepreneurial thing with zero expectations.
Okay. I
That's
love that. Yeah, I love that. And I love that, you said there's a difference between being an entrepreneur and being a business owner. And being an entrepreneur is when you can kind of step away and you can get those breaks and that PTO and those holidays and all
yeah,
of that stuff. Because being a business owner, you really don't get that. And it's just like, okay, you kind of feel bad if you're trying to take a little break or if you're not doing something else on someone. It's like, if I'm not doing something, I feel guilty for not doing something. But sometimes you really just don't have anything to do, but you're trying to make something out of nothing because
yeah,
you feel like you have to keep going all the time. And I just really love hearing the difference between the two of them. And then you said something about like leveraging and stuff. So how do you balance the different ventures that you have going on, and then family time and playing with your kids and all different kind of stuff?
yeah. That's a good question. I don't. Maybe it's just me. I try my best to be the best parent I possibly can, but no matter how much time I give my kids, I feel like it's still never enough.
Mm-hmm.
And same goes with my wife. No matter how much time I give my wife, I still feel like it's never enough. Like I can always give more. But I've been fortunate enough to rub shoulders with some incredible coaches and mentors to help show me what leverage options are available for me. And leverage costs money, but looking at it as a business owner, how can you leverage yourself out of your business by paying somebody else to do what you're doing while still generating an income? And so I've been able to kind of break down my business and figure out what things I can leverage out, pay for, to free up my time to do something else that's more high dollar per hour work.
Mm-hmm.
So as a realtor, it's very rare that I'll actually go and open up the door for a client that wants to see a home. That piece of my business I've completely leveraged out. If I'm going to go show somebody a house that's 45 minutes away from my office, and then they want to look at the house for 30 minutes, and I got to drive 45 minutes back, I mean, that's two plus over 2 hours
Yeah.
to show one home,
Mm-hmm.
when I can pay $40 to somebody to open up that door for me, and I can stay at my office and do higher dollar generating activities. So that's just one example of a piece I've been able to leverage in my business, um, while still keeping extremely high end service. Um, and so, for any entrepreneurs out there that are listening or business owners, I would encourage you to explore tools to leverage yourself to get you out of the day to day, because when you're out of the day to day, your mind can actually think, and you can think big picture. It's hard to think big picture when you've got a task list of 40 things and people are blowing up your phone asking you 100 questions.
Right. Right. And so how does like leveraging, like it's great, we all want to be able to do that. We all want to be able to leverage and outsource. How does it feel to like, I guess, give up like a sense of control in that aspect? Because I know a lot of business owners that I talk to, that's the thing, like they want to be able to leverage, they want to be able to, kind of hand it off, but at the same time, they're like, I'm worried that somebody's gonna mess up my baby, this thing that I've worked so hard for. And it's just relinquishing that control aspect. So
Yeah.
how are you able to do that?
Yeah, thanks for touching on that because that is not easy. And there's a book I read called EOS.
Okay.
Um, if you're familiar with that, I'd recommend it. It's basically just an operating system for your business,
Okay.
and how to structure your business. So in EOS, they talk about that exact same thing, and they refer to it as, they call it letting go of the vine. And you cannot grow and you cannot leverage until you let go of the vine. So if you're refusing to let go of the vine because you don't trust anybody, or you think that you're so good, no one else can do it, you're going to lose profits, whatever it might be, then you have to just rethink your business model. I'd also say you you need to kind of open your mind a little bit, because when I let other people show my clients, I'm like, there's no way I'm doing that. There's no way that I'm going to let go of my clients and let some other agent open up the door for them. They could do a horrible job. They could try and take the client from me. They could taint my name. They could defamate. There's so many things that could go wrong when outsourcing that part of my business, that I did not want to do that. But when I learned how to set the expectation for my clients of, hey, my showing partner is going to show you, I'm the pilot. I fly the plane. The flight attendant, if you need a drink, it's not the pilot leaving the cockpit to come and give you a drink, it's the flight attendant. So I've used that analogy in my business, and it's really helped kind of create a mental picture of, I'm the pilot, that's what I do, I fly the plane. If there's turbulence, it's my job to find some smooth air. But it's not my job to give you a blanket or headphones or a soda or clean up the throw up, if whatever it might be. So if you're not willing to let go of the vine, I would recommend talking with someone who has, to coach you through it, because it's hard. You can't just say like, oh, just let go of the vine. It's not that easy. You cannot just let go, and it's your baby that you've built, but you have to.
Okay. I like that analogy of the pilot and the flight attendant. That's a really good way to put it in, to think about it. They all have, everyone has their part in their job, and all of the jobs are needed to make your flight as smooth as possible, but everyone has to be willing to control only what they can control and relinquish the rest of the control to someone else. So,
I
yeah.
mean, if you're going to fly a 300 passenger plane, you're not going to pass out snacks.
No, no, and I don't think I want you to. I would much rather, I'd much rather you be steering that plane and making sure we're not running into any turbulence or anything like that. I can wait on my Coke, or my peanuts or my cookies. Like, I'm good. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah. Okay. And so then you mentioned something too. You said that you have, like, I'm not sure how it is, but you said that you have like partners that go and open up the doors and stuff and different things like that. So do you currently have multiple business partners, or is it just one business partner? And what lessons have you learned from having partnerships?
That's a good question, and the partnership question is, I've got a lot to talk on that piece.
Okay.
As far as the showing homes, I use a third-party service
Oh,
called
okay.
G.L.O.E, and so we've got 90 agents, real estate agents here in our team in Phoenix,
Mhm.
and so these agents are busy, and it's not very often where they've got time to go and show somebody a house because they're doing their own stuff. So I typically don't ask agents on our team to show for me. I use a third party service where they're just licensed agents who don't sell a whole lot of homes. They just happen to have a license and a lockbox key.
Oh,
And so
okay.
it's for those people who love showing homes, who love opening doors and lockboxes and walking through homes and touring homes. It's those people that I sub out the showings to. Um, and it's been great. It's been great for my business. And I'm so grateful that I found that, thanks to some coaches and mentors of mine.
Okay.
Uh, Going back to your partnership question, I've had partnerships that are like gold, and I cherish them with everything that I have. And I've have other partnerships that I've cherished as well, but the other partner hasn't reciprocated.
Mm.
So I have a construction company in Phoenix as well. I forgot to mention that one.
Okay.
But I'm a licensed contractor here in Phoenix, and we had a thriving residential remodel company. And one of the partners who we were in business with didn't feel like things were fair and was cutting corners. And it's been it's been really difficult trying to climb out of that hole these past 6 months. So I wish I would have taken my time and chosen my partner a little bit more carefully in that business, because if I had, it would have been a much different story. But I
Mm.
think I just got too excited, and sometimes we get good ideas and we want to chase them, and I chased that idea too fast, and I
Gotcha.
should have vetted my partner a little bit more. Um, but partnerships are everything for me. I don't like doing stuff by myself, and nor do I want to. I don't I don't want to sit at the top of the hill by myself.
You're right.
For me, that's no fun. I'd rather bring people with me. I'm going to the top. Either way, I'm going.
Right.
I'd love to bring people with me, and if you don't want to come, that's fine. But just don't drag me down, because that
Yeah.
I am going to the top, and I want as many people up there as possible. And so, when choosing your partner, make sure that they're cool putting in the work to get to the top, because there it takes work, it takes effort to get to the top, and you're going to be out of breath, and there's going to be times when you're thirsty and you're tired, but you have to keep pushing. And so that's something that I've learned with my partnerships. If you're not willing to go to the top and you just want to kind of stop halfway, that's cool. But I want to see everything. I
Yeah.
want the full panoramic view. I don't want to just see a portion. And so that's one thing that I'd suggest if you're looking to partner. Take your time, do your research. I'd suggest maybe not going with family. Um, Family's tough. It's a tough dynamic to skate. Even if your brother or sister or cousin or friend, even friends, it's just tough. It's almost not worth going down that path.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen a lot of, people have issues in business from going in with a family member or with a friend, and like it ruining relationships and stuff like that. And it's great that you want to bring people with you to the top, because so many times you find people, they're like, I'm going to the top, but I don't want anybody else up there with me. Like, this is just me. I'm not taking anybody along for the ride. So that's great that you're like, I'm doing this and I want to be able to share it with other people. But if it isn't for you, hey, that's cool, but don't drag me down with it.
Yeah,
Like, there's ways that you can bow out gracefully, or if you realize that this, hey, this isn't for me, like, thank you for the opportunity. So, this isn't for me. Like, thank you for the opportunity, but we're gonna have to like amicably part ways. And so you definitely do have to do your research and make sure that you're picking the right person. Because, like I said, you don't want a family member or a friend, but you don't want a complete stranger either. So you got to kind of find that balance of who you're gonna go with. So yeah,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure it can be tough to work that out.
yeah. It's tough.
Yeah. So with your hand in so many different things and wearing so many different hats, and trying to go from being a business owner to being an entrepreneur, how do you set your goals for what it is that you want to accomplish?
So I have part in every single business I'm a part of. I have partners. I don't have any business of mine where it's just me. And
Okay.
even going back to like my family, like I look at my family as a business. The EOS book I was talking about,
Mhm.
they have what's called level 10 meetings every week. I have a level 10 meeting with my wife, who was my business partner. So it with the family. So I have partners with every business I run, and we have meetings every week, every business, and we've got to-dos, we've got quarterly rocks, we've got annual goals, 3-year, 5-year, 10-year targets. We review all of them. And so setting up our goals and how to accomplish those per business, it's lined out. And so every week when we have our meetings for the business, we know what we're working on and what we need to work on to get to where we want to go. And it's actually pretty black and white. And it's easy to set those goals when you know where you want to go. And if you don't have a 10-year target, then you don't know where you want to go. You're just working. You're working to make a paycheck, which is fine. But if you want to work yourself out of a job and be an entrepreneur, you have to know where you're going, how much revenue you need to do that, and how to build your business to get that type of revenue.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Well, thank you so much. You've definitely given us lots of little nuggets and tips and advice today. Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
I mean, I'd say that's pretty much it.
Okay.
There, the only thing that I can share is a story that's resonated with me for quite some time, and it's the story of the rats in the bucket. If you're familiar with that story.
I've heard it. Is it kind of like similar to the one about the crabs in the bucket?
Oh, I haven't heard the crabs in the bucket one. What's
Okay,
that?
well you tell your rats in the bucket and then I'll tell my crabs in the bucket.
Okay.
Oh.
So there, I think it was Stanford who did a study with a bunch of rats, and they put however many rats in a 5-gallon bucket to
Mm.
see how long they could swim for. And after about 15 minutes of swimming, the rats died.
Oh.
And so what they did the second time was they put in new rats in the same bucket of water, and they let them swim. And at about 14 minutes, right before they were about to die, they pulled the rats out and kind of nursed them back to health. And then they put the rats back in the water a second time, the same rats. And they didn't swim for 15 minutes. They swam for 60 hours, 60 hours. And so I love that story because it's hope that kept these rats swimming for 60 hours versus 15 minutes. We are capable as a human being, we are capable of so much more than what we give ourselves credit.
Mm,
And a lot of us, most of us, stop swimming after 15 minutes.
mm,
We have the ability to swim for 60 hours. We just don't think we do. But what keeps us going is the hope, the little nuggets of persistence. It's good friends, it's mentors, it's coaches, it's someone who has a different perspective than us to help us keep swimming. Because as a human being, and when we're by ourselves, we want to quit. But when we're around winners and we surround ourselves with good people who don't quit, we won't quit, and we will swim the 60 hours. And so that's one piece of advice I'd give to any entrepreneur who's listening or business owner is just keep swimming. And once you stop swimming, you die. You will die. And so stop swimming isn't an option for me, and it never will be. And I could have stopped swimming back in 2022,
right.
but I didn't. And I'm still swimming, and I will always swim. It's always a rat race to survive. But hopefully that story resonates with some of you. Feel free to look it up. It's a
Oh yeah.
well-known study that they've done. I think it was Stanford who
Okay,
did
yeah.
that study. But it's a great analogy. It's a great principle to live by.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out. I have not heard that story before. Rats creep me out, but I think
Yeah.
that I think they're so gross. But that is a really amazing story, and it's really, it's encouraging, even though rats are super gross. But it's a really encouraging story just to keep going, and that, like you said, you got to kind of swim to survive. So thank you for sharing that. But
Yeah.
yeah. So the crab in the bucket story, kind of similar, but kind of not. It's like when the fishermen, they go out and they catch all the crabs and then they drop them into like the same like 5-gallon buckets. And then they're the crabs that are trying to crawl out for, whatever reason, because they don't want to be in the bucket. But then you have the crabs at the bottom of the bucket who are constantly pulling them back down, kind of like, I'm trapped in here. You're not getting out either. So you have those people that are going to be like pulling you down and trying to stop you from your journey, but you got to keep trying to go so that you can get out of the bucket.
Yeah.
So,
Misery
yeah.
likes company.
Yes, amen to that. Yes, it definitely does. So
you gotta protect your zen. You gotta be around good people.
You do. I am all about protecting my zen and my peace. And if it's not, bringing me peace, I just don't need it around me. Like you have to get away from that. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
like that. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome so much. Well, Jerome, thank you so much for being here today. It has been awesome. How can everyone connect with you if they're interested in, learning more about what it is that you do or
Yeah,
seeing the houses that you show or anything like that?
yeah. I mean, I'm pretty easy to find. My name's unique.
Mm.
You can find me on Instagram at Jarom Rogers,
Okay.
and then from there, it's if you can find me, my number, my email, my address, my office.
Okay.
So I'm easy to find.
Okay, awesome. And I'll make sure that I get your Instagram linked into the show notes as well. So,
Awesome,
well, thank you so much again. I have enjoyed this conversation and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Angel. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.